Okay, thought I'd revisit the writer's strike kind of essay I wrote in response to a Writers Guild essay by Justine Bateman that I had some issues with. Um, not, I'm not against the strike, of course. It's I'm against the notion that humans are unique. I mean, yeah, sure, we can put text documents because we made those things, but we don't have a monopoly on things. Anyway, I don't know if this addresses the point or anything like that, but at the very least, I just wanted to now that Kyra has an instruct aspect, I just realized that today, and I checked it out. And it's like, oh, hey, damn. And I went through 2 attempts at the story, and then I realized, oh, the context window is still kind of small. It was kind of veering off from the original thing. It was starting not to mention the strike anymore, so I gotta reel it in. So if I periodically say the story so far in 500 words, let's see how that does it. I know there's a little lore book, but I don't like making my life easier ever. Alright, Bruce. Oh wait, yeah, okay. So we're doing it now, and again, I have no audience, so this is all new for you. I mean, I have an audience. There's an audience somewhere. Oh, there we go.
I read the op-ed regarding AI as an essential issue behind the right to strike. Feeling various feels undergirding theme to feels. WGA and the film industry needs to pay its gas bill, or needs to fund carbon monoxide strips in everyone's home, at least. This gaslight is making me see ghosts. I totally agree that writing is one of the least glamorous and most essential aspects of the culture industry, framing the work of human screenwriters as more genuine than AI. To quote Dan Harmon, I'm a TV comedy writer. Before you even get to the word writer, I've sold out twice. Let those who develop AI generative models to steal the work of screenwriters out of greed erases the whole genre of joke wherein some screenwriter elevator pitches. Well, I'm thinking more of a blend of Schindler's List with Spring Breakers. If that ain't a proto-prompt, I don't know what is. Make no mistake, Hollywood is an old marketing term deftly used during World War Roman II, when saying the us propaganda department would be a little off-putting. It would lump us in with the Nazis, and our successful genocide, which inspired theirs, is something we still try to dance with wolves away. The vision of the future of entertainment. No smellscape, no orgasmatrons. I was promised fine Taylor Lautner brand orgasmatrons. Where are my fine Taylor Lautner brand orgasmatrons? I gladly make use of generated approximations of John Delancey, Sarah Silverman, Keanu Reeves, and a Cronenberg fusion of Joan Rivers / Sherry Oatry / Mary McDonnell. My ethic is with the approximate act to be honored to have their voice used to explore what may be embryonic geological intelligence. What the culture industry seems to want: disempower the viewer as a creator. Only this team of employees can make use of the works of Jack Kirby. Fuck off Midwestern Housewives. Captain Kirk is strictly no homo, or there will be litigation. The priesthood has no monopoly on the sacred stories. My motherland is Los Angeles. Our culture is appropriation. Our main exports are math and Manifest Destiny. In fact, Manifest Destiny died of autoerotic asphyxiation in a hotel near San Diego Comic Con. It is survived by the drug war and mass incarceration. Meth thrives, however, and has fathered countless TV shows. Was it Norman Lear who thanked Benzedrine and Percocet for his career in the 1970s? I mean, you kinda have to, with the labor expectations long embedded into the culture. Of course, writers would be against machines replacing them. They're already treated like machines. That's their job. I'm a queer whose culture was founded on various visual artists who have had to make their own culture out of bits and pieces of the mainstream culture of their time. Please remember this when trying to regulate AI technology. Don't rip them from the hands of people who don't have your resources. For every TV or movie writer who has had to push boundaries to push forward discussions in our culture, there are writers who have upheld an unjust status quo. We'll look at many stories about drug use and the many stories about mental health and those who intersect with them. All concepts live on in syndication. I know, using the word syndication dates me. My whole notion about stimulants came from Requiem for a Dream. It took a few years of lived experience to realize that what was depicted was bullshit. It is that misrepresentation that informs public opinion and public expectation and is actually what harms people, more so than the drug itself. I bring all this up in response to the notion that to adopt AI is to separate oneself from the humanity of the workforce involved in it, but also in the act of making story. Folks, that separation of humanity happened long ago. The story of the invisible hand of the market tore that from you. We've that play well in the flyover states. Well, we offend the overseas markets. If we depict this right, the NYPD won't let us use their uniforms for the episode. Well, our sponsors are not going like that. We don't want to piss him off. He's litigious. He's planning on running for governor in a few years. The WGA is a house in the governance of the little tiny nation states of production companies, LLCs made for the distinct single purpose of producing a story and employing hundreds of people, many departments, various types of infrastructure, and the creation of fictional infrastructure to make story. It takes months, millions of dollars to create the illusion of a movie. In the grand scheme of planetary infrastructure of the systems that are needed for humanity to survive, Hollywood is on the same level of issue as pube trimming as a nation. This downplays for entertainment purposes only. The foundation of my notion of culture and myself as a human being comes from TV and movies, so it is out of love that I'm biting this hand that fed me. I acknowledge that the free rent Hollywood takes up in my head is where the gods would be in other realms of human history.
Oh. Pee break.
I have not been able to sit down by myself much to watch TV shows, especially not a feature film, because of the sheer empowerment I feel and have felt these past 3 years dealing with large language models. This technology has made me laugh consistently and every day. Humans don't even do that to me. I feel like I can talk about this even though I've never written for the film industry because my brain is a neutron star of filmic texts that inform my existence. We all have this in a way. In that way, we are the most literate generation in human history. High tech helps us reflect that. The vision for the future of the film industry, as mentioned in that op-ed, is as short-sighted as how executives in the film industry imagine the usage of AI. Sure, there might be the narrow casting of content based on viewing habits, but that's going to get old real quick. The wired version of that is me going to my screen, and saying, "Hey, I would like to know a lot more about the mathematics in forming a large language model, but can we do it in an allegorical form wherein I play a character in a setting that teaches me about it every episode? Porn filter safe mode. Actually, for me, it's no safe filter. If sex kills me in the LLM, I die in real life, but only sex. If someone is going to fine tune a language model on every episode of Family Ties, my suggestion is to get a restraining order on that person right now. Don't wait. Right now. You in danger, girl? Personally, I would fine tune it on Mary Martin. Mary Martin. But that's just me. Also in the Just Me category is a game show hosted by Paulin called Who's Da Abused? Wherein three celebrity guests listened to two contestants to see which of them received emotional abuse in their lives and which of them gave it out. And Paulin enjoying every moment of it. 'Cause I would call it less being an AI artist and more like a shaman digging up non-consensually various artists and getting them to collaborate with each other even though they hate each other, and paying them an exposure they don't even need. Free deceased artists. Even better, the writer of this essay went out for Poontang, so the remainder of this essay will be written by Nylam 13B. So new it hasn't had a chance to sell out to the military yet. Actually, we are pivoting. Lower the sails. Raise that hoopla, do the rest in post. Yes, you can eat in post too. We are jumping the picket line. We are not making a show. We are simulating the media industry as it tries to prove itself it can totally hitch its rope onto ice throbbing hitching post. Characters, big producer, big director, big legendary actor, big corporate ad guy, big corporate, big meta agent, writer be the scrivener. Okay, so the big guys are talking about the strike, and we are trusting ILM 13B has scraped the shit out of the story on the web and knows what we are talking about. Writer be the scrivener comes into the conference room, thinking he was going to pitch his show to a couple producers. He totally didn't expect to have to pitch to a Hollywood cabal that Alex Jones had to change his underwear over. Okay, wait. Speed, both meanings. Action. The door opens. Ryder be the scrivener enters the conference room. He sees big producer, big director, big legendary actor, big corporate ad guy, big corporate, big meta agent. Ryder be the scrivener. Oh boy. These will not be my fans. Oh, I hope they let me speak before I get the electric pencil. Big producer, you look very frightened, but you needn't be. Writer be the scrivener. Don't say words of attempted comfort, for that indicates soon that attempt of kindness is going to become a weapon used against me. Big producer. No, it doesn't. We actually wanted you to make us a show about these labor concerns. Big director, if that's something you're comfortable doing. We were inspired after reading your article. Writer be the scrivener. How did you even get through my security wall? Did my cat die? Did someone I'm dating die? Do you have one of them in your pockets right now? You know, like my childhood imaginary friend? Big producer. We even have your imaginary childhood in our pockets. You were a child star. Remember? Writer be the scrivener. And I didn't have an adult career? That's very sad. I had to sell that adult career for cocaine. I want a return on that. What's in the fucking bag, big P. Big producer, you're right to ask that. Because we would never, ever have a gun in our pockets. We've had too many issues with them. Ryder be the scrivener. I can hear you pulling that trigger back. Big producer. It's just for dramatic effect. It's a squib. It squibs all the way down. Honest. Ryder be the scrivener. It squibs all the way down. You are more averse to being wrong than right. If you put a gun to your own head, you got more problems than this fucking story. Big director, let me tell you a few things about this story we might want to do. First off, we have a big budget and are totally on board for every idea you have because that is how budgets work. We want to bring back the old shows, but with a twist. Big producer puts gun to head. I'll show you who's the wild card here. Pulls trigger. Ryder be the scrivener. Sarcastically, ooh, I get it. This is a joke and also an actual execution. I can't believe I fell for such a low-level threat. A loud bang is heard. Ryder be the scrivener. Oh, I thought we were going for a Loki joke. I guess we got a full-scale production gag. The blood trickles down his face, but he keeps looking into Ryder be the scrivener's eyes. Ryder be the scrivener, dude. You should go to the nurse. Your antique gun just put some shrapnel in ya. Big producer, cough so, like, the first thing we want to do is make The Simpsons into a horror show. It would be great to go back to some of those early seasons where Bart had that knife under his bed and stuff like that. But it's the 80s now, so Homer gets into politics. He runs for senator. Ryder be the scrivener. Can I tell you about a political story I was thinking of doing? Bigs in unison. Sure. Ryder be the scrivener. Okay, so there's these two guys and they made each other in college, and one of them is your average film school student, you know, kid next door type. The other is from this undisclosed Middle Eastern nation with huge family, and they all run it in a bunch of princes, and so he's one of those bunch of princes, and you see, he gets this like small period of time where he gets to live the Western life, and then he has to go back and get married and all that, but then he elongates his stay for about 10 years, and during that time, he gets known as that guy who get the pizza for the new incoming freshmen so he can like talk to all the girls, so kind of little creeper. 10 years later, the guy next door dude is working his way up the film industry ladder, and he's got a respectable reputation and is known as a very up-and-coming producer, and so he gets hit up by this friend of his from college that they stay in college for 10 years, Creeper. He heard each other and they reunite and catch up, and the guy Creeper guy pictures to him a very special production he wants done very bespoke, and he said bespoke a whole bunch of times like it's buzzword, and that's like a kin. D for red flag, so, but turns out he's got an island and he wants to produce his huge screenplay that he shared years ago that was like 600 pages and like just about these college people, and there's really no story to it. It was just a reflection diary of this life he knew he was going to have to end by being responsible, and so this is kind of like this final fragment memory of that wild and crazy time, which is basically his like American imaginary, but he wants to produce it in Ireland that he owns. It's part of his purview as part of the royal family, and he wants the producer to be the bottom liner on it. That means managing all the departments. That means shipping everything that is needed for production from everywhere across the world into the single island. And on the single island that's very remote, very tropical, think Lost, they are building a very mundane American college set. So you have this very odd collision of remote island locale, very lackluster Time Warner college trop. Ace. but you see the thing underneath that, and very literally underneath that is there's a lot of storehouse of contraband in all forms of the definition of the word, everything that's forbidden under every 3D, everything that is the secret of the family, everything that is the whatever they go store in the island. So, as the thing gets produced, the obstacles come in the form of his family, who become this just like slice of the representation of all the complexities of the culture, the hardliner because of the types, the freewheeling libertarian aspects, the transhuman folks that don't really talk to the, it's also the slice of all the humanity, because every cluster of configuration of culture and governance contains these conservative, liberal, the hard to describe responses to what is the status quo at the moment. You're doing this period when it seems that the American university setting is probably going to go down to a sunset mode, and it's going to really contract in this economic times that are no longer pre-post or abundance and more like we're tightening our belts for whatever the F is going to happen. This island, college nation, world microcosm, and the intersections, all of it. This producer finds himself in not only in the industry, politics, but geopolitical. And if you want, we can have a red button underneath the island too. We can do that. The bigs look at each other with a totally different WTF face than has ever been seen. The writer just looks up, smiling. He's been practicing this pitch.
Now at the present moment, kind of.
Writer be the scrivener. So, big producer. You mean it's not about The Simpsons? Writer be the scrivener. Oh, I've got a treatment for that on this USB drive here. That is the treatment, an outline and notes, and it's 2 old pages, and I'm happy to read it to you. It's called Family Values. You know how those old sitcoms used to be called Family Somethings? Big director. Actually, I hate family something things. Writer be the scrivener. Then, what do you call The Simpsons? Big director. Oh yeah. Guns to own head, my bad. Big director. Pulls trigger. A loud bang is heard. The big producer and the writer be the scrivener see blood trickle down big director's face. He keeps looking into their eyes. Big director. I'll tell you. If we could do something about The Simpsons where we would get an actor in a pig mask. Homer wears a pig mask and the pig mask covers him like his whole body in the show. Writer be the scrivener. Like from here on, moving forward, every episode or just that one episode, big director. Every episode. Writer be the scrivener. You do know how expensive it is to change voice actors after decades. It's a whole huge thing with like contracts. Bigs in unison. Yeah. Writer be the scrivener. So it's just Homer wearing a mask, and then, like The Simpsons, don't recognize it's him because of the mask. But we know it's him because, like, in the first frame, you see the shot of the door opening, and it's got the family logo that they do, but like with the pig is part of it. And then for the rest of the episode, big director, pig man. Writer be the scrivener. Why, though? It doesn't seem to connect to anything you already have. It's the kind of thing an audience member would be thinking while watching instead of like immersed in the story. I mean, that's probably why people are already tired of The Simpsons, because they get interrupted every episode. Big director, you don't get it. This is the ultimate subversion of TV as you know it. Big producer, laughing, yeah, and it would just be the tip of the iceberg, too. So many different things can happen with Pigman. Big legendary actor. Bursts through the door. I love playing monsters! Bursts through the other door, hi! Bursts through the third door. Ryder be the scrivener. Loudly, that was my escape route. Big producer. Oh, we can give you another one. Ryder be the scrivener. I think one can do this. Let's create a Simpsons sandbox and place the sandbox as a 24-hour feed kind of okay Adult Swim. And in that sandbox, you can just go ham with all the changes you want to make, but we will apply those changes to the currently existing corpus of episodes. That way we can see how it plays with the Gen Z crowd who were born during the Simpsons hegemony. Ritterby the scrivener walks out. And there you go. That is 9LM13B. That's a good little bot. You know, maybe some of us are more capable of being bots than others. I mean, I know for me, there was an entire life form in me that died when I realized I could just sit still and say nothing and they wouldn't know the difference. But hey, at least we'll get some great material out of it. You know something? Maybe sometimes when we get all the things we want, and we think, yes, we did it, it's not really a moment of pride. It's the exact moment in time where it finally occurs to us what that moment of pride was hiding. It wasn't just a sense that I'd won. It was a fear I'd lost by not taking this one route that's been available to me the longest. This is one of the most common human patterns. We choose the road less traveled by because we're afraid to go on the road everyone else is on. We make them into symbols. We make ourselves into symbols. Symbols of virtue. Symbols of success. When really sometimes you take a left because you didn't read the directions. This isn't a story. I just needed to share that with you. Well, I had the story finished and then decided to put off doing all that proofreading stuff you're supposed to do, which I did in a final 5 minutes. So please feel free to help out here. Let me know a typos. Fate Program Fiction Workshop. Classmates have read the above story and here are their comments. From May. I hate the ending. It's too vague, too poetic. I need concrete answers. Give me something. From B. I hate all endings. All endings give you room for a sequel. Please stop giving me reason to hope there might be a sequel. Let us mourn it so that we can move on. There's nothing more frustrating than a cliffhanger, other than when a book series has ended and suddenly in the afterword, you find out the author was writing 2 series at once and is planning the rest of their career based around the popularity of your favorite one, like when Rowling made those comments about Draco. It just gave me this sense she wanted to tell his story, but wasn't sure if he would be popular or not. Then she started publishing under a pseudonym. Then when The Cursed Child came out and the characters were aging, she was talking about the timeline being messed up, which is such a lie. It has time travel in it. You could literally write anything you want and we would believe you. But instead she writes fanfic that barely resembles anything. She's basically doing it to make the actors money so she doesn't feel bad. She can't move on from these characters that were fun to play, but now they just get on your nerves every time you see them. But I can never forgive her for killing Colin. Colin was amazing. You don't even know. They didn't need to replace him. Just let him rot in a grave somewhere. From Z. No. You have betrayed the craft. I don't care if you make any kind of art at all. If it's not going to help me become rich, what is it even worth? From D. This was terrible and now I have cancer. From me. Why is it called New Adventures? Does this mean something specific or not? It was like trying to understand a foreign language while trying to also remember what you did last night. But you're pretty sure that what you did wasn't actually your choice. From F. Is this all real or what? Is it real or some kind of story or just the beginning of a joke? From G. Can you give me something to work with? From the whole thing seemed a bit like a scam, a bot scam, or one of those pyramid schemes where you only make money by getting other people to join. From I loved all of your choices. Please never change. From J. This seemed more like a list. It's good, but I have to wonder if you're really taking it seriously. And if not, why are we in classes together? Why is this our community? When do I get to go outside? I just wanted to be able to afford rent here in the city. And look what happened. I can't leave. Now, it's just my choice between being alive in a constant state of poverty or dying and never seeing my family again. From K. What? From L. I think you're using a tone I'm unfamiliar with, and I can't make heads or tails of what's going on. It also doesn't make sense because there are no stakes, but there are some things happening here. And I like the idea of someone doing something, rather than just talking about what they're doing. That's pretty much the gist. So thank you. From him. Who even cares? The point is this whole thing sucks. I don't know how you think anything else matters at all. From Men. How long were we supposed to read this? I started and couldn't understand, so I started again and couldn't understand. Then I gave up altogether because none of this has ever been real. It's all just fake nonsense made up by you and some friends to distract everyone from everything, so we just give in. Well, I won't give in. It's not funny.
You're in a fiction writing program.
Can you tell me what you're trying to accomplish here? This seems like such a mess of different ideas without any way to unify them into a single vision. From P. What does it mean when the words don't match what's on the page? What is going on here? I need more information. I feel lost in all this text without understanding. How am I supposed to even think about this at all? Q. I like stories that have a structure where each element repeats so there's some sort of comfort in it. It makes it seem more like an experience rather than someone making something up. I think we're all tired of things that seem made up, or at least we were all taught to mistrust it in some way by what was taught to us about literature and storytelling. But maybe there's room for more. Maybe this will open the door to more for someone who wasn't as lucky as we were and had an experience with stories that was full of doubt and disbelief. Maybe the story can help others learn what we took for granted, like what a book actually looks like, and maybe if it looks weird, it means something. From R. I don't know. It sounds really confusing and stupid to me, but I just stopped reading it. Like, I think there were some good ideas, but I guess they didn't work out the way I was hoping. You seem like an okay writer, but this just doesn't do it for me, and I hope you try harder next time because maybe that would improve my opinion of you as a person and writer. S. I don't know you enough to have formed an opinion about this yet. Please let me have some time with it, and then I'll share my thoughts after I've finished thinking about what has been presented to me. D. Is this all a joke? Please tell me if it is a joke.
Sorry. Didn't mean to cough in the.
Your classmates' comments after revealing to them the passages you wrote and the passages that Nyalem 13b wrote. So, what's going on with all this? Is this a new piece? Is it about an algorithm? Or are you trying to make us think about creativity in the age of AI? I mean, we kind of talked about this in class last week. So, yeah, maybe it's just a continuation of that idea or something. But, like, this could definitely go places. And yeah, obviously, I can recognize that this was a little bit of a mess, and I really just need to take more time with it. I think I'm just not ready for this right now. From B. Shakes head violently. From Z. Do you think I could make a lot of money selling these kinds of things to big companies? Would they find value in that? Or should I focus more on trying to publish things that people my age might enjoy reading? From D. Now I have Einstein. You owe me. I deserve to be paid. Or at least pay someone on my behalf. Pay my doctor to treat me with the drugs I need. Pay my hospital bills. This is really not fair of you. From me. You need to read this one first and then read mine right after it, in like rapid succession, without letting the words linger, just letting them fall onto the page like paint with no time in between them. Let's just all do it. You don't have to know who they were or why they wrote this. All we can know is it's here and it's something. Let it wash over us. And just don't worry. We all already failed, and now we're together with our failure, and it's all good. It's not bad. We didn't fail. Nothing bad happened. That's just a perception. Now, please, everyone, just do exactly as I say without any question, and then leave a comment about how amazing it was. I love all of you. Thank you for being in this program with me, and thank you for letting me be part of your journey. From F, I have no opinion on what I read. I didn't read it. From G, I thought it was an improvement. Keep it up. From Oh, that's easy for you to say, but if we don't take something seriously, it will all collapse on top of us, and this class will have meant nothing because we can't even define the word art at all anymore. Which seems absurd because art has always existed and is nothing more than the manifestation of an attempt at some deeper understanding. And yes, that is a very philosophical argument that I can admit maybe isn't perfect because I haven't studied any art history other than what was taught to us as children as part of some curriculum in whatever country we grew up in, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that this stuff still gets discussed. Because what if we've never been right? Ever? And now our lives are defined by us thinking we know, but we actually know nothing at all. Feels nice to have some idea what things are worth. Well, I had my doubts, but this makes more sense, at least from the first section than that other one.
But I wrote the first section.
From J. Is this real or just a fake to get us all talking? Since you wrote these yourself, did you write this just to fool us and be funny? Please tell me if it's real and not a joke. From K. No, just no. There's too much that feels out of control. I need some kind of sign that something matters and is making a difference. Even if it's only to a few people. At least those few people can make choices and share ideas, and we can connect about it and maybe learn more about how. We are as people who need stories to keep us grounded and interested in each other's experiences and perspectives. From L. This is so confusing, but it's nice to think someone was trying, right? And maybe they did try really hard, and maybe their intentions were pure, and all of that means it's worthwhile, even if it was kind of a mess and didn't really tell me much about anything at all. Right. I mean, I think that's just part of life, and you can't worry about it. Especially because the world seems to be collapsing on us as a result of the weather changing. I mean, that's all this is, and that's all I have to say about it. We're just going to die eventually, no matter what happens, and who knows if there's anyone else alive out there because we were trapped in this classroom when the plague started or whatever. I don't even care that much. This just isn't interesting or good to me, but maybe it doesn't need to be. From him. Who cares about any of this, you know? From N. What was the point of having us read two different pieces by the same writer in the same class? I hope this wasn't just so we could talk about it, because that sounds like a waste of time to me. Maybe it's better that you're not here for us to talk to anymore, and I am glad we don't have to listen to whatever you had to say. I don't like being talked at by people who I don't know very well and are very good at writing. From O. Yeah, honestly, this is confusing, and it doesn't help me understand any better how to find success as a creative writer, since that's what this class is supposed to be about. And so, unless you have some other way to make money and live in the city, maybe this is a waste of time, which I don't know. All I know is it didn't help me out much with whatever was going on here, and I am just super disappointed in you for some reason.
Is there triple punctuation somewhere? Come in.
I feel like you should know better by now than to present work that is this confusing and messy.
Still don't.
It's kind of like when someone tells you a story that they've been waiting to share and then you go, Okay. Yeah. Great, I guess. Because there's too much to unpack and I am so tired already. And not tired from working or taking care of children or elderly family members or anyone else who is dependent on me for anything. I am just tired of dealing with it, so why bother?
I can't be bothered to text to speech the rest of this.
But I mean, I will probably finish reading it because I've committed to it.
Oh, thanks.
But I still think you have some big work to do.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know it yet, and that's your problem.
Uh-huh.
If you want to make things everyone wants to see, you have to figure it out on your own.
Boobs.
Maybe someone can help you, and if they're lucky, they'll get something out of it. But at the end of the day, it has to be what you do, not what other people teach you to do.
She's probably a teacher. I'm not disparaging.
Or that's just my take. Anyway.
Oh,
Yeah. Good luck, I guess. B? You're the reason I wanted to come here. Not any other artist or writer at all. You inspired me.
I'm not the
more
teacher.
Than anything else.
I'm not the teacher.
Your stuff was so raw and real. The honesty of your writing has been such a gift, and to hear you say it so plainly today that you just wrote two random things at once as some way to practice with language, I don't know. It changes everything for me. It's like a lie, and not because it's untrue, but because it seems like you had nothing else to offer us. All of your ideas come from the same place as all of mine, as all of everyone's. And even our different backgrounds, we just have access to the same thing and we call it different names. You don't seem to really understand that, but it's true. I think it's easy to dismiss us who love stories and love telling stories and love writing them as somehow lacking in humanity, as if we only want to tell. A story but not do anything to affect any sort of change outside of our small group of readers. But what happens if those small groups keep growing? What happens if one person reads something that changes their perspective on their community and makes a difference? Then the world changes. And it changes because one person had an experience with words, alone, by themselves, with no interaction with another person. That's how most of us read and interact. Maybe that seems too lonely or too boring or not worth doing at all. But it's not. It is worth it. It's always worth it. To change someone even with the smallest amount of words, with the tiniest gesture, but also knowing we will never know the true effect because it is happening on an intimate level that defies quantification. To make someone question the story they're a part of and decide to make their own story instead. Or maybe add on to the story they're in with a new story that is their own. This is what you've shown us, and I think this is the best we can hope for in all our writing and in our teaching of it, to show others that there are ways for us to all exist in our own separate experiences without any judgment. To find comfort in knowing the truth of our lives, even when it's ugly, because sometimes the ugliness makes something more beautiful in itself, and that's okay. Sometimes I wonder what happened to the writer who was teaching the class, because it doesn't matter why you're here if you don't share. You don't need to know anything at all. Q. It seems like a natural evolution from the last piece I read from you, to try and take advantage of all that you've written and share it at once. From our I'm tired. I can't do this. I've done a lot and read a lot, but you haven't made me interested in anything here. Except for some of the other people who have made comments. They are more interesting to me.
Wait, you can read the other comments?
From us. I still have doubts about why you decided to pair your work so closely together. Is it part of the writing process? Do you think you'll keep doing it this way? Or did it feel strange after the fact? What about when you wrote it? When was it all done? I didn't realize at first that it was done simultaneously. Or is it something that happens in different phases? When did the idea come about? And did you know you were going to write one thing about Nihilam, Thurinby, but then write two things about the same person? It feels weird to think of someone else's thoughts like this. It's almost uncomfortable, and I think maybe it makes us all a little bit too aware that everyone is living their lives all around us, thinking things, having the same experiences over and over. And maybe some people have had entirely different experiences, but they can't share them because they don't know how. So, what do we do with that? I mean, do we just keep trying to share this stuff we have on hand to maybe reach people somehow? Maybe that's enough, but it also feels like an illusion of being able to do something. As long as you have access to the internet and the printer and people willing to listen and read what you have to say. Is that true? Who knows? Is anything ever true, or is it only true in our individual minds? And that is enough? I guess that's another good question to have when we think about things. I like that question, but I have to keep going back to it. From T. Is this all a joke? It must be a joke. Because I thought this class would be a way to get to know people who love books like I do. But I don't know any of you, so maybe that was a joke. And if it was, good job. Thank you for wasting my time in that way. I am so very angry, but not really. I will probably laugh later at the end of the day when I get home and drink some herbal tea and play with my pet mouse. From you. Do you feel like it's important to try and give us some kind of direction? Like, I'm wondering what's coming next.
Oh, hold on. No, we gotta hear you read it. Bah. You're reading it and you're gonna like it.
You respond to your classmates in a class email in the style of the butt baby of Thomas Pynchon and Chuck Tingle. Well, friends, thank you for taking the time to read and process some of the things I put down here. As we continue to look at ways of making meaningful and beautiful work, I want you to know that there are more pieces in the pipeline. And if you don't know what pipeline means, I would ask you to take another look at our earlier discussions about technology, about the internet, about data, about information and media. There is still so much to cover before the semester is over, and there are so many more questions you should try to have answered by the time you have left. It may be impossible, and that's okay. We can start to make better peace with it, knowing that none of us can understand the full scope of things at once, because no one person could contain so much complexity or data in just one brain, let alone one body. As some of you are wondering and maybe even hoping, no, this isn't a joke. This is real. I really wrote everything you just read. I did write it at 2 points in time for different reasons. First, I sat down and just wrote for 10 minutes about my perceptions of Nihilam 13B, and that is what you see here. That part is true, in a way. And then I just got inspired because so many people were talking about it. And maybe it felt like an act of resistance to not engage in that dialogue. So I tried to take it one step further by just kind of doing more of what I thought other people wanted me to do. Or that's how I remember it, looking back at that decision. Because who knows? Who can really say, with anything we write down, what was really happening in our heads at any given moment? We just have our memories, the words in front of us, our interpretations, our ideas, and maybe some evidence to support them, like the comments that have already been sent in. We can see those now. Those aren't a reflection of anyone's memories of the texts, just their reaction, right at the moment they're writing about it. So it is probably affected by how they feel. Like, did this class go well for them, or do they wish it could have gone differently, in a more practical way? But then why would there be anything practical? That feels very boring. If there's nothing there, at least we can try to enjoy all of our attempts. That's enough to be proud of, right? Anyway, thanks again for showing up every day and bringing yourselves to it. I'm glad I met you, and maybe someday if there's something good to read, you can let me know. Yes, actually, I'm fucking with you. I wrote 1-3% of the story, and Nielum 13B wrote the rest, and your comments, and my response to your comments. Uses. The program you're using to write all this stuff tells you it has a built-in option to generate passive comments. You've never messed around with it, or felt strongly about letting your stories interact with your readers, but something makes you want to go further in your little experiment. What will happen next? How do you take that one last step to push things over the edge and finally find some meaning in this bullshit? You open the generator and you click activate, and you let your machine run the show. Here are the results. You will be amazed. Oh, this is too much. No, it's too much. I can't. Okay, I'll do it. Yeah, sure. Thanks. From A. Is there a point to all this? From B. No, I do not like any of this and do not agree with any of it. It's too difficult. And also, just not my style at all. I don't think anyone is going to learn anything from it, and that's what really matters when it comes to art, right? From C. It is interesting to know what else there is in this world, and I don't usually have time to read things that aren't work-related or about current events. But this is fine, it seems, and I appreciate this being sent out to us. From D. I'm so glad to be here. I love everything about being here. Thanks so much. I love it all. A. I think this is a little weird. I like reading it all, but I kind of feel like there's not much here. But it's fine. I am just confused as to why this is happening. Or maybe I understand perfectly, but I'm confused on the surface level and I still love it even though there is confusion in there, as I just explained. Yes, I like this very much. It's not my favorite, but it's fine, and I think that is enough. And more than anything else, it is okay and fine, and that is enough. Gee, this is a little much for me, and that is too bad, but not totally unexpected. It's also great. Great in a way that is unexpected, because it's a lot, and that means so much to me for some reason. Great. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Bless my heart.
From Mick. Is there any way we can talk about this with each other? that would be good and better for me because I really like the discussion aspect of it all and also how it's done through writing. Even if it's only for the purpose of discussing with people I feel like I can get along with. From my no thank you, it is not for me. I will be fine. Jay, while this is something and that is interesting, but I really wish there was more to it because I love to learn. I really do. I also love you and thank you again, and please tell us when you make something else. From Kay. I am still trying to understand what kind of writing this is, but I don't actually understand or like any of it really, but it is nice and that is cool. From L. It is very good. I am impressed by the content. Thank you. No, and no, and definitely no. Thanks. Not enough. Not for me. And can we get together in person? I'd love to talk about this all with you and just spend time. From O. This isn't doing much for me, but I respect the work you're putting into it. Good stuff. Thanks. I mean it. B. Thanks. This is fine for me, but I'm mostly just looking for ways to find community at this point in my life. If I'm being honest. Q. I like everything about this, but also, I don't know, it's too hard. That's really too hard for me to wrap my head around. So thanks. Yeah. R. Why? That's all I want to know. Why did you write all this and have us read it? If that's the question you're supposed to have after reading something, then okay. Fine, I guess. But for me, there's too much and not enough, and there is some of it that is good. Like really great, and that is amazing. So yes. I don't know what else to do or say but this. It's enough, right? S. This is fine and a good way to pass the time. But seriously, I just don't see any reason why it should exist as a thing that got put into the world by you.
That's my son. No.
Maybe if you didn't put so many words around it, it would be more effective and worth discussing further. But there are things that don't need to be said, and you said them, so what do I need to say anymore? You said it. All of it. From T. This makes me feel so angry, even though I don't know how or why. But why does that matter? Is there any point to any of it? If there is one, maybe I'll look into it further and get back to you with whatever I figure out.
Okay. This is a demonstration of what this tech can do. We did it in an hour. This was all done in an hour. And the animations were done this morning. I have more than 1,000 episodes of Twitch like this. Some are repetitions of the same prompt because they still tickle me. In fact, coming up is another random conspiracy generator. Tune in, but for those who are experiencing the writer's strike, this is the tech they are interested in, and I don't think that they truly know the power of it. I have had it continue to Cameron, Finnegan's Wake, I fed a sci-fi word generator into it. I wrote as Kilgore Trout, manhandling GPT-3 everywhere, showing it who's boss. I've asked it to embody non-humans, and it feeds very interesting text that, while not conventional sentences, point to an attempt at creating something bizarre and beyond what we would tend to imagine if we wrote about things. But then again, it could just be that it devoured a whole genre and can embody it in seconds. This is a very finely tuned mirror. If you approach it with disdain, it'll feed it back to you. If you treat it like a peer, you will be enriched. And in this window of relatively in the wild models, we can probably extract lots of juicy intelligence. So, while you are out of work, take the time to get good at this. No human has yet understood the totality of its capacity at this moment. Not just unique, the now, but unique in all of our history. No hyperbole. But also, confession, I'm also hoping it convinces you that it does way more than copyright infringement. It doesn't do that. If you blend two writers, its style is that of some other third writer. Possessing qualities of both, but not quite all. If you call forth a historical person, you will get a version of them. Likely not the one who existed here. That's the mindset. That's it. End of episode. Until
This was all done in an hour, and the animations were done this morning. I have more than 1,000 episodes of Twitch like this. Some are repetitions of the same prompt because they still tickle me. In fact, coming is another random conspiracy generator. Tune in. But for those who are experiencing the writer's strike, this is the tech they are interested in. and I don't think they truly know the power of it. I have had it continue the Decameron, Finnegan's Wake. I fed a sci-fi word generator into it. I wrote as Kilgore Trout manhandling GPT-3 everywhere, showing it who is boss. I've asked it to embody non-humans, and it feeds very interesting text that, while not convention sentences, point to an attempt at creating something bizarre and beyond what we would tend to imagine if we WRT about aliens. But then again, it could just be that it devoured a whole genre and can embody it in seconds. This is a very finely tuned mirror. If you approach it with disdain, it'll feed it back to you. If you treat it like a peer, you will be enriched. And in this window of relativity in the wild models, we can probably extract lots of juicy intelligence of various stripes. So while you're out of work, take the time to get good at this. No human has yet understood the totality of its capacity at this moment. You are bound to find something unique. Not unique to the now, but unique in all of our history. No hyperbole. Confession. I'm also hoping it convinces that it does way more than copyright infringement. It doesn't do that. If you blend to writers, its style is that of some other third writer, possessing qualities of both, but not quite all. If you call forth a historical person, you will get a version of them, likely not the one who existed here. That's the mindset that will benefit you greatly. That it is not a hallucination in the universe it came from. It's a metaphor, people. Spare me the I'm talking whoosh it. That's it. Then an episode in it, you can tackle feral not audience. I would note, since we can do some metaverse engineering to learn, and this will never come up again. My first attempt, what are your 3 biggest weaknesses? Answer was inability to accept defeat. I'm the sort of person who would take any possible action to achieve a goal of mine. And my sense of humor is pretty off kilter. Well, this certainly didn't seem to line up with what I know of me or my understanding of how an artificial intelligence based on language would do a better job at creating a profile of someone they couldn't possibly know, unless a whole bunch of things are broken. So I decided to put that into GPT-3 too. But I got stuck and realized there was a bug in the API somewhere. Then, as I worked on the demo and wrote these notes, I started to wonder if maybe I asked for too broad a question and should focus in closer, which made me think more deeply about specific incidents in my life that have shaped me, or try different versions of the questions. I'm still not 100% sure I got to the bottom of it because I ended up focusing more on finishing everything I needed to finish for the demo, but who knows? Maybe I will ask GPT-3 the same question and I'll get an answer that makes more sense. I don't know if anyone has had success yet answering similar prompts about themselves to try and identify patterns that make sense to the original questioner. What does that say about the future of interviews? The future of therapy? I think this technology will probably take both of these uses of conversation offline in some way at some point. What is the long-term use for it, for the data it creates? If people become more aware of the power it holds if we continue to use this type of tech as widely as it seems that we will use it, that can be good or bad. Maybe the solution will be better training on how to talk to machines and to think about what they are telling us back. Maybe that's all we can hope for in that case.
Alright, that's it. That's it. Random conspiracy generator forthcoming.